Hello everyone, my name is the Good Captain and welcome to my first Let's Play video on YouTube ever. And obviously we're going to be doing a campaign series. So the reason I chose to do this was because one, I really like this game, and two, I've owned I think every installment of or version of this game ever since they came out, with Eastfront in '99, I believe it was, and have played them all extensively, including I think every linked campaign game in each of the series and their supplementary add-ons. So, another reason I'm doing this is because I looked up, I typed in campaign series on YouTube, and I've seen some other YouTubers version of sort of a let's play or a how to play video, and I should say right off the bat that this is not a how to play video. I've played this many times. I'm making this let's play series because I think I have something different to offer, in that I can play, I think, proficiently or more proficiently than some other players of this game, just because I've played it so much. So what you'll see here is, and what you'll hear is not me ever really wondering about anything. I'm saying that because, again, in other videos it seems like you're watching someone play it for the first time. If I think out loud, it's only to share with you what I believe to be best practices for achieving major victories in all of your battles and campaigns. So what I've chosen to do as my first campaign is the Link campaign game out of Rising Sun, called The Fall of the Philippines. And no particular reason. Again, I've already played this campaign game before, but it's been many years since I've played it. So, I think I shouldn't say for no particular reason, but this has got a smallish. Most of the campaign games out of Rising Sun, the linked ones, are pretty playable in terms of unit size. So I figured for my first one it should be something manageable, and then we can get into the much bigger linked campaign. Oops. Okay, so sometimes this happens. That is not what I wanted to do, but since and we're off to a great start, so let's just reset everything. Okay, so actually we'll start there. You might have noticed that I didn't have these two optional rules on, and that is because I feel like since Matrix games took over, these two never existed prior to Matrix games taking over. I think Matrix games really added in too much detail. Fortunately, they didn't, force that detail onto pre-existing scenarios and campaigns, but those two just, I feel like, take away from the game. They don't add to it, so I don't want to go into too much detail about that right now. So, alright, so scenario 1, liberate our brothers. This is, again, the invasion of the Philippines, and the first thing you should do whenever you start a scenario is look at the victory conditions under the status bar and see how many points they want you to make. So for the major victory, you need 350 points. This is the key number. You should always have your eye on the ball, and the ball is 350. And then the very next thing you should do is check out how much your objectives are worth and then where they are. So I see I have 300 points worth of objectives. So if I capture all of them, I still need to inflict 50 strength points worth of casualties on the enemy, 50 strength points more than they inflict on me. So where are they now? Okay, so I've already studied the map, so you can see this road that leads up. Here's two of them. And then we just follow this long road down. There's another one here. I should hold down the shift key. Yeah. And then the final 150 are in Santa Tomas and Lamboy. So Santa Barbara and Agu are 100. This intervening village between these major town areas is worth 50, and then the final 150 in Santo Tomas. So after you've done that, you can sort of reverse engineer everything. We can see that we have 12 turns, and it's in this case I found it helpful to just count backwards the number of hexes to the beaches, and from this hex here, it's something like 24 or 25 hexes away, and it's going to take 2 turns to get this unit unloaded onto the shore there and in that hex. So I know that I've got 10 turns from this point where there's about 24 hexes away to make it to that Santa Tomas. So just to do some simple math, we'd have to be moving, you know, at an average of something like 2 to 3 movements, hexes per turn, just to make it there, and that doesn't leave us any time for fighting along the way or any delays whatsoever. And that's if we just beeline straight there. These rice paddies aren't a terrible hindrance to movement. I'm not worried about capturing these objectives in terms of time. They're fairly close to the beach. I am very worried about these two. So, again, I've played this before, but it's been years, so I don't remember all of the ins and outs of it. It only, right, okay, so, okay, yeah, so we do have tanks. That's right, I thought we might have had tanks, but wasn't sure, so the Hagos will help, probably at least take this objective, if not get us to Santo Tomas. But we're going to have to try to find a way to take some pressure off of any companies that we send towards Santo Tomas via this wooden bridge, because we're basically going to have to. There's no way that we'll have enough time if we send any companies we send up here are not going to be available for the assault on Santo Tomas and Lamboy. So we've got to send something through this wooden bridge. That's what this is telling me. And this isn't something I spent time before this video, like probably 10-15 minutes, just staring at the map, looking around at my units, etc., etc. So, okay, not all the openings will be this long. We'll just start playing, of course, at some point, but this is my introduction, so I just wanted to sort of lay the groundwork and explain how I think and what I'm thinking, because so much of this game, so much of wins and losses can come through, and casualties really, casualties among anything else, comes through proper planning before you play the battle, or at least planning before you play the battle, because I've certainly had my share of plans that have had to change once we run into the enemy. Okay, so what I'm doing here is finding my ATR platoon, and the reason I'm doing that is because whenever you're doing a naval assault landing, or any type of reconnaissance or moving towards an area that you're not sure of, you should try to find your most expendable unit, and in this case, it's the Japanese anti-tank rifle platoon. They're not very good in combat against tanks or against troops or tanks, and they are cheaper per strength point than the rifle platoons, and I'll show you that when I can. I can't show you that really right now. The F2 key only brings up transports when I do that, and that's the easiest way to show you what I mean. But at any rate, last thing I want to do, and I've already done this, is I'm just going to show you check and see what we can see. So I can see that I see this whole first line of villages here, but nothing behind it. Right, and so there's there's really no such thing as too little time spent checking the hexes where you want to go and seeing what you can see, they can see, and what you can see at the beginning of your turn. But I've already kind of done most of the legwork, and I am going to take some risks, but really I'm going to try to minimize the risk. So I will start by moving my anti-tank rifle platoon in an easterly direction to reposition these two companies for an assault against Santo Tomas. These two companies will head directly for Santa Barbara and Agu. Okay. Again, it's something like 24 hexes from here, and since landing craft can move 3 spaces, which is a good guarantee over moving through these rice paddies, where we're probably gonna have to, or moving through these trails in rough terrain, or swamps, I should say, marsh. This is a much more assured thing without having to go fatigue or double time status to close that distance. So I am going to try to drop them in right in this area here, this hex here, as close to this hex as possible, or this hex, and this cuts the distance to these objectives down from 24, 25 spaces to 22. So that saves us a turn and a half, even arguably. And that is probably going to be crucial if we can even make it. I'm not sure. I'm just not sure. That is really far and very little time to get there. And then we check our artillery. You should always look at your artillery. We have some off-board naval guns. I already checked the reinforcements. We have available air support. We have 5 fighters. Don't get me started on the historical accuracies of having a Toryu, a Ki-45, I should say, and a Ki-43 in the Philippines in December of 41. That's just not what would happen. Sometimes I think they made Rising Sun as sort of a cash grab on the coattails of West Front and East Front, but I digress. Okay, so we're going to move this ATR platoon first. Trying to find the other one here. Yeah. So I just always move your most expendable units first, and then everyone else. Alright, okay, so guns, right? So these will just drive straight. Okay. Okay, so that was, I thought I remembered this being a fairly quiet beachhead scenario. And given the time constraints, it better be. So I think that's what we're seeing here. There he is. Okay. Everyone else is going to head directly in. Alright, so just try to quickly move them all. Okay. And I always have I have a checklist. So before you end your turn, you should first check the next unit button, and then check for off-fire air missions, off-board arty, and if you would like any smoke. So I'll go through these one at a time. So click next units to make sure that all units have been considered. Check for opportunity fire, any units on the map that might have some action points left over. Make sure that you have their engagement distances adjusted accordingly. Then check for off-board artillery, Do we want any naval strikes? No. Missions, fire missions, I should say. Then, do you want any air missions? And then, do we want any smoke? So, smoke is something we could consider, but since our landing craft really opened the scenario by seeing nothing, and we haven't been shot at, I don't want to waste any smokes yet. So we will give the enemy its turn. And listen carefully. So I think he moved about 3 or 4 units, and that's just based on how much time that turn took, and the fact that I couldn't hear anything means that it was probably further back. Oh, one other thing that you should do before you really run into a scenario, again, I already did this, but is hit your 4 key. And the reason you do this, you're not going to play in this mode, but you can see the elevation changes way easier in this mode. So we can see that it's completely flat with the exception of this big hill back here. And you know that the visibility is 12 hexes. I don't remember there being stuff up here, but if there are some big guns, we should be safe just to establish a beachhead at least. So anyway, turn 2, and we'll continue. Yeah. And we don't want to make a single mistake, especially for these guys. In terms of time, we've got none. Okay, very good. Should have moved this one first, but anyway. So this is the space that we want. Yep. So next turn we'll be able to land some troops and start our run-in against Santo Tomas with those 2 companies. Yeah, that's the 75. Try to move through this very quickly here. I'm just going to move my boats. Do what I did here on a beach landing, which is stack the heck out of this beyond 12 strength points. If you go over 12 strength points, so you can see here this is 2 rifle platoons, this is 12 already, and now you've got these landing craft. Other units are stacked in other hexes like this. This is not a good idea because after 12 strength points in 1 hex, the enemy gets a modifier that only goes up the more that you have over 12 in there. So again, we're doing this for one reason. Time. Time in this scenario makes this look like a very difficult scenario. I don't know if that was designed in. Again, I feel like Rising Sun was done a little hastily. But again, there's still fun scenarios to play, for sure. Okay? So we'll be able to move in, and now we're going to start preparing the ground. And again, there's really just no amount of time that you can spend, excuse me, on no shortage of time to spend on. Huh. I think we're just going to move 1 hex this turn. Over here, we're going to be very hasty to the point of nearly reckless. But on this side, we can afford to be a little bit cautious. So this guy can still move 1 space, but he's not going to. And he's the only one that would be able to assign opportunity fire. And we'll put him at medium. Okay, and then I think now's a good time to go over this unit handbook. Actually, not yet. We can just use F2. We see it. Well, no, we'll do it. So F2 gives you the name of this rifle platoon, gives you the stats. So we have a range of 3. Six at hex range 1. This is not that good, and if I recall correctly, there's something funny about the troops in this scenario. So what I'm doing is opening up the unit handbook to get more information. And what you want to do is you match the picture. So when you're in game, you hit F2, the easiest way is to match this picture first, and then the values, because sometimes pictures are used twice. So I'm looking at the assault value. Yeah, this is it. So this, yeah, these are rifle platoon 1931s. I don't know why I have this, and again, this seems to me an oversight, because we should have, it's 1941. Why do we have infantry that are 10 years old? We should have rifle platoon 39s with the updated equipment. What, you know, it's just weird. Anyway, so I'm going to add this to the comparison chart and then wait to see what I'm up against so we can kind of see how our units compare to their units. Okay. So this line of villages gives us a good visual screen from any units inland, and that's what I'm kind of taking advantage of here. The problem is we can't see anything beyond anyway, I'll show you how to bait shots next turn when we have some action points. So this is the end of turn 2. Let me check how long this video is so far. 23 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to try to stop my video at an hour, and that's mainly because I can't play really more than an hour at a time. I can, but things start to get sloppy. It's just the way I work, and an hour is long enough for a YouTube video on campaign series, I think. So this will just be part 1, and we'll just keep making more and more parts until we complete the link to campaign game. So, do we want any fire missions? Do we want any smoke? I just don't. No airstrikes, obviously. Nothing is out there that we can see still. So, we'll just give the enemy its turn. Yeah. Okay, we finally see something. Mounts. These are horses for ostensibly a cavalry platoon. Okay. So now we go back to our unit handbook, and we need to find the American cavalry platoon. And the reason we can't just use F2 is because fog of war is on. So you won't get any information on, so I passed it. You won't get any information on, there it is. So if this is what we're up against, so the blue is the soft attack. This is what I'm really looking at. And as you can see, disappointingly, our infantry is as good as theirs at range 1, just slightly better at range 2 and 3. That's pretty ridiculous, given that at this stage, at this time, the army in the Philippines was very ill-equipped, and Japanese infantry should be a little better than equal. Okay. Okay. So let's start with our turn. Let's do the most obvious things first. Let's get these guys unloaded. And in the fight. Again, really, we just have to push inland. There's nothing to say about it. We just gotta get in. I don't like exposing Japanese leaders like that, but there is just straight up no time whatsoever. Okay, now, we can't see any troops there. That doesn't mean they're not there, but since there's mounts here, I'm going to assume there's a cav platoon nearby. And one of the other major things, takeaways from this, is to understand that a cav platoon has an attack value of 1 at range 3, so that's how we want to bait the shots, range 3. So wherever we suspect the enemy, we want to send our least valuable units, or just units, out at range 3. Here, here, or here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So this hex looks like a choice place to send someone in. Double time? Yep. Disrupted. Okay, so there it is. That's how you do that, okay? Yeah, so that worked out. Okay. So we found him. He disrupted a non-mission essential unit, and we used up one of his 2 shots. We need to use up the other one though. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Yep. So let me check his value at range 2. It's a 3. And even after we reduce it, we'd still be, yeah, we gotta do this. Yep, so we'll send in the machine gun team. Didn't bait the shot. I don't like doing this, sending in a headquarters platoon, but we need to do something to get another potential shot in there, and we're not busting the 12 strength point limit for their bonus, so wow. He's disciplined. I'll give him that. Let's see what else we got. Headquarters. Battalion headquarters. Sure. Let's get these guys out of the way. So this is what we have left to work with. I don't like doing this so much. I guess 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's probably the only thing we could have done, really. 3 hex range from so many locations where there could be more troops. Of course, this doesn't take into account machine gun teams and any other potential unit types we might run into, but let's pull a machine gun team. This from 41 till 46, 43. Air-cooled. Could be also heavy machine guns. I don't think we have air-cooled. Or, if, again, this is Rising Sun, so who knows what the heck there is. Alright, we'll add them both. Yeah, it would be either this or this. If they were historically accurate, it's a water-cooled 30, not a air-cooled, so... Also, this one, boy, that's a long range, 5. And at 4, they have a 5. So I'm really hoping it's a light machine gun section that we are up against. But one thing I noticed between these two is a strength of 2 for a light machine gun of 4. So if they start taking... anyway, okay, we'll worry about that if we run into it. Okay. Okay, we're going to try to bait the shot with the leader. Still nothing. I hate doing this, but I don't want to... The other thing to do is to look at where you want to go in the future. So I can see this hex here can scan all 3 of these spaces. Well, these 2 are what we really want. So I am going to double time this infantry unit. We need to get here. 1, 2, 3. Do we risk it? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, I think we should, because for the rest of this turn, we're going to have to be cautious. Oh, I thought we could move. Never mind, that's the end of it. Okay, so that never had the option. Yeah, we don't want to. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we could make it if we double timed this guy. But it's a headquarters. Yeah, this is a headquarters platoon, so. Okay, we're gonna relocate to the left. Seems kind of a waste, but set his opportunity fire. Yeah. And then we'll position the next company. Here, and yes, take the risk. I don't think anyone's going to come down on us. But if they do, we'll have potentially some shots back at him. So all units have been considered. Okay, now we set opportunity fire artillery. Do I want smoke? Not yet, no. We will call fire mission though. Both on the same village, both on the same unit there. It's not smart to bomb horses that they don't ever get really totally eliminated, it seems like, and they kind of scatter, so we'll have to just assault those to destroy them, collect the strength points from them. These are important to get rid of because they can distract air attacks. So if there's more or empty trucks, they can be quite annoying when trying to plot air missions. Yeah, we got reinforcements. Came in on this turn, right? 1, 2. Kind of probably screwed that up a little bit. Okay. So now we will give the enemy its turn. Good. So the ATR platoon is undisrupted. Yes! Lovely. Caused 2 casualties and it retreated. Very good. Okay, first let me prioritize the hoggos. Tanks in as fast as we can. Sorry about this, guys. Tell you what, next turn I'll just take a pause and do this very quickly. Okay. I don't think we're going to be able to destroy this unit on this turn. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Yeah, we're not going to be able to do the damage we need to do and encircle and destroy him, so we'll focus on other things. So nothing obvious in either of these hexes. It doesn't mean that nothing's there. We could add a bad dice roll and not seen anything. But there could be bad guys here, so I think the first order of business is to clear out these horses, actually. Yep. We'll use this unit so he can start getting back over to his parent company. And we will double time so that we can do this. One, two, assault. Okay. We really don't want to get closer than 2 hex range unless he's disrupted. 2 hex range in a village is as risky as we're gonna really want to go. So we know he can't shoot because he shot in his turn and then retreated an hour after our bombardment. We can lay down a shot, it looks like. Yeah. So what's our, at 6, right? Yeah, 6 firepower attack. It's really pretty crummy. Normally I wouldn't do this, but I don't think I have a choice, so... Okay, it worked. Yeah. Wow, that was actually kind of lucky, I think. Not the best attack there, but okay. I don't like this. A rice paddy is not... It does provide a little bit of cover. The enemy will get 90% of his firepower attack, but the village is better, 80%. So hopefully he stays disrupted. We'll move him fatigued, since they're both fatigued now. Move them together. Yeah. Okay. So hopefully the AI will shoot at this ATR in the village. It's not going to happen. They'll stay there to start providing supplies next turn. This is the machine gun team for this company, so we'll double time him. This is a machine gun team whose purpose really, in my opinion, is to protect headquarters. Okay. Now, I'll come do these guys last. Over here, again, double time. Just get there. Just get there as fast as you can. Again, I hate doing this. Really hate leaving a Japanese leader open like that. Hmm. Okay, so we're all ashore now. Okay. We're going to lead off with our most expendable unit first. And the area I'm most worried about at this point, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, is here and here. So if the enemy is here, 1, 2, 3, this is where we want to go, right there. Can we make it there? Of course not. No. I think it's going to be a machine gun team. Hate doing this, but again, time constraints. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Again, not bad if there's rifle platoon or cav platoons everywhere, but could be really bad if there's light or heavy machine guns lying around. Push up. Let's get him. Actually, let's check. 1, 2, 3, 4. I like that space, so we're gonna go for it. Good. We'll start some scouting around the edge of this village here and looking further ahead. Check the time. Okay, we'll do one more turn after this and then finish this video. Okay. Yeah. Oh, he can double time. So we will. Soak in this guy. We will. Okay. So all units have been considered, except for these guys, but that's okay. They're setting up their headquarters. So the next thing is, do we have any opportunity fire? And we do not. Yeah. Oh, I guess this guy. But we'll just leave him as is. Shooting at long range, if anything approaches. Next is artillery, which the guns are available. Artillery or smoke. That's really the only thing that can do both. I don't know if he'll move or not. I'm not sure. Another thing we can do is reach ahead. But we can't, we don't have anybody that can see this objective X. Normally I would maneuver someone into one of these spaces. I would have done that, but again, we've already used up 1/3 of our time, and we are nowhere near our objectives. This, I think, This is going to be tough. Very tough. I'm going to hold off. This is already disrupted and damaged, and we'll probably get him. We'll probably capture him next turn, so I want to make sure I can retain the artillery. And no smoke missions are needed and no air, so we'll give the enemy its turn. Yes, he shot the ATR platoon. Oh, and he undisrupted too, wow. That's tough. And he moved one space. Does he have enough action points to fire? Huh. Oh, and we see enemy has fortified. So they saw that. Fortification, so there's likely enemy in that spot. So we'll bring down some fire on him this turn if we can. Next turn, I should say. But first things first, the most obvious, this headlong charge must continue. So both our lead units. Okay. Just moving 2 spaces. So slow. Who's this guy? Oh, he's a headquarters machine gun. Yeah, we'll just get him back to where he belongs. Okay. Now... Okay, if somebody's here... Oh, look at that. We inadvertently put eyes on this space here. Okay, perfect. So this turn the objectives are gonna be to kind of load up this company. Let me check this again. Okay, there's sort of a funnel here. We want to get to this space. This is it. This is perfect. 3 spaces away. Cover if it's a machine gun. Still some risk, but I don't think we're going to be able to make it. Yeah, we're going to... Okay. That's okay. One, two, three, four. 3 spaces away from these 2 village hexes, so that's why we did that. I don't think they'll have machine guns there. Just given how sparse things have been. I imagine their assets will be located on or near the objectives or on the way to them. This is sort of a flank. So, yeah. Yeah, I think we're clear to just push in. Yep. Not here though. Not there. We don't want to be. So we'll come back to these guys after we clean out this guy. So we need to disrupt him. Fatigued, not good. Fatigued. These are good for assaulting. Well, they're not really good for anything, but what we're gonna do is meet the leader with the good rifle platoon. Let's snap off a good shot here. And all we did was retreat him, so we'll shoot him again. He's disrupted. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Okay, so we should be able to kill this guy. Unless there's an enemy here. No, but we didn't bait any shots, so there's likely not. But just to be sure. Okay, now we will move our anti-tank rifle platoon here. One of our infantry squads here. And the guy who's going to do the assaulting here. Now, there is a slight risk of being repelled. We are fatigued, which means our assault value is halved, if I recall correctly. But he's taken 2 strength points hits, and so he's at a maximum of 4. We're at 6. He's disrupted, which is key, else we wouldn't be doing this. And he's probably lost some morale level or 2. Or yeah, he's probably lost some morale since all the retreating he's been doing and damage he's been taking, so capture. Okay. Very good. We'll just dig. Okay, the hoggos have priority. Alright, I'll take a little pause and we'll be right back as I clean up the ocean. Okay, so all units have been considered now, and fire mission. Do we want smoke or do we want shells, and where do we want them? So there's 2 potential targets. We could drop them here or here. I'm more inclined to, well, we could split them as well. Still, I just think that unless this existed before the game, it was built recently. Yeah, I'm gonna drop both here. No smoke, no air. So we'll give the enemy its turn. Ah, we see some mounts. Oh, that was... quiet turn. I'm a little surprised. Okay, let's see how long this is going. Just at an hour, but... 6, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do one more turn, just to have it half done, and that way we can make this just a 2-part video. Liberate our brothers. This first scenario's title. We'll just hopefully just make it into 2 parts. And in order to do that, we should try to play one more turn. Okay, so first things first. This is really starting to bother me. Moving headlong like this, but we still have quite a bit of distance to cover, and getting down to the wire. Yep. Just moving 2 and 3 hexes a turn. It's slow going. Okay. Okay, so this is probably clear. This is probably clear. 1, 2, 3. We'll try to bait shots out of this. Really worried about this hex. So where are our ATR platoons? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I think just a mad dash across the rice paddies here is in order. Yep. Perfect. Perfect. Oh, perfect. Whoa! Oh! 1, 2, 3, 4. Ouch! Wow, he withstood the naval bombardment. Didn't retreat, didn't disrupt. Or he recovered. Maybe we did some damage. Let's check the victory. Oh. So I'll show you now that the victory points for an ATR platoon per strength point is 2. And the victory points per strength point for a rifle platoon is 3. So that's another reason you use these ATR platoons for scouting, is they're just cheap. Dang, there is a... That hit me at 4 spaces. And... So it could be a light or a heavy, right? There is a slight difference. The color is different. You can see in the box here compared to the on-screen. It's a heavy machine gun. That is a heavy machine gun platoon. That is what we're dealing with. Wow, I can tell by the slight discoloration at the waist. So this is how you, again, this is how you, so we're going to remove the light because we're dealing with a freaking heavy. That makes sense because at range 4 it would have a 5 attack. Wow. This is a very lethal unit. We should not approach it unless... Wow. Okay. So we'll put that away for now. Okay. And there's a rifle platoon here. So, where can we maneuver that we can lay down some fire on the rifle platoon, but not be seen by the heavy? Boy. Okay, well, this is why you move. This is why you play this game carefully and move cautiously. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At range 5, I don't think he can finish me off. It's just a 3 strength point attack at 90% fire rating. But if he's, yeah, if it's a heavy, he's a 4 strength unit. That is a real piece of Artillery. Jeez. Okay, enough of that. So, we gotta bait a shot out of. Oh, wow. We can't really bait any shots here. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, wow. We're just gonna have to go head up if we want to try to remove this infantry, this threat. Again, if time wasn't such a concern, I wouldn't be worried about this, but I've got to take some risks, unfortunately. That was not good. The only other thing I can do is this. A 4-string. Oh, oh yes. That was really crucial as regards to not taking casualties. So yeah, and we'll move up. Wow, it's a powerful attack at point blank. Surprised he withstood that. Okay, that was lucky our rifle team picked up where our machine gun team left off. Yeah, we'll just pile in. We gotta knock these guys down. Okay, now this flanking move. We can see this, and this. We need to get somebody here to put observation on this victory location. 1, 2, 3, 4. Unfortunately, we won't be able to bait shots with this guy. So this looks like a perfect opportunity for a machine gun team. Yep. Oh, unless there's another machine gun there. But anyway, we can only do our best against the machine guns. There's no way to defeat them in this way. Like we're baiting the rifle shots, it's harder to do these machine gun teams. At least he can't see along this board edge. So, yeah, we are going to be safe moving along this route. And we'll just circle this entire company around the village. Okay, we don't want him to... Yeah. Gotta be careful when you're moving your units. They might go their own way and get shot at unnecessarily. So we'll double time him and move him here. Infantry guns move up. Lagos, very precious pieces of equipment here. Let's get rid of the roads. Unload. It's a 37mm FMT gun. Still out of supply, really. Huh. Yeah, let's just check there. You know, let's go ahead and move them up. Right now I'm trying to split the difference between these two, but eventually I'm going to probably have to veer right in terms of supplying everybody. Okay, I think we're coming to the end here. Let me clean up the ocean, do one last check, and then close the video. So a little pause while I clean up the ocean. Okay, the last thing we're gonna do here is decide what to do with this machine gun team. Okay. So we got plenty of eyes on that heavy machine gun team, but he does belong to the headquarters, so we'll just move him up. Okay. Artillery, or opportunity fire, non-existent. Yeah. Artillery. Clearly, and obviously, I just need to burn this guy out. We also need to assign an air attack. And there's a 65% chance that will arrive on our next turn, which we'll be able to see right now. I don't want to assign more than one because I really am going to need all the help I can get when we assault Santo Tomas, so I just hope that is enough. And we give the enemy its turn. That machine gun will always shoot twice on its turn, so it's going to just dump into that ATR platoon, and probably I wouldn't be surprised if it killed it. Very good. Actually, I wish I hadn't retreated. We could have. We took a morale hit. Recover it, but. Yes! Oh! No airstrike, but the artillery was very successful. Caused 2 hit points and a disruption. And now we know for sure that it's a heavy machine gun platoon, because if it was a light machine gun platoon, it would have been eliminated because they're only worth 2 strength points. But it's heavy, so it means it's down by 2 to a 2 strength point unit now, so this is very, very good. So that ATR man did not, that strength point of ATR platoon rifleman did not die in vain. No air attack, but that's okay. We'll probably have use for it next turn. And we look pretty good. We're doing the best we can, I should say. I don't know if we look good, but let's take a look at the score and then close. So we've taken 2 victory points worth of casualties from the losses of the ATR. Otherwise, we've inflicted 26 for a net gain of 24. And we need to make a minimum of 50 if we capture all of our objectives to get the major victory. So there's still time left. We're halfway done and about to take our first objective. But I hope this is interesting. Like, comment, subscribe. And thank you for watching this. All the best from the good captain, and bye-bye.